Natalie, you're going to read for us today. Okay. Against all higher truth, their stuff rebels. Only to titan force, their will lies prone. So here we see in these Godheads of a little life, these beings that rebel against all higher truth. Their stuff, their nature rebels against this. And only to titan force, their will lies prone. And we have to speak a bit about this titan force because Sri Aurobindo here capitalizes the word titan. And he says, and I will read this out, it's a little bit long, but extremely important. It's in his essays in philosophy and yoga. The Titan's, instincts call for a visible, tangible mastery and a sensational domination. How shall he feel sure of his empire unless he can feel something writhing, helpless under his heel? If in agony, so much the better. What is exploitation to him unless it diminishes the exploited? To be able to coerce, exact, slay, overtly, irresistibly, it is this that fills him with the sense of glory and dominion. For he is the son of division and the strong flowering of the ego. To feel the comparative limitation of others is necessary to him that he may imagine himself immeasurable, for he has not the real self-existent sense of infinity, which no outward circumstance can abrogate. Contrast, division, negation of the wills and lives of others are essential to his self-development and self-assertion. The Titan would unify by devouring, not by harmonizing. He must conquer and trample what is not himself, either out of existence or into subservience, so that his own image may stand out, stamped upon all things and dominating all his environment. Well, it's a powerful, powerful statement. But if I can go out on a limb, so to speak, we are seeing that in the world today. We're seeing that huge Asuric force attempting to take control over humanity. And it is only the divine love that will eliminate it. A Titan is so powerful. And we see that Hitler appreciated Nietzsche's Superman so much because he was a Titan. He was not here to harmonize. He was not here to bring unity. He was here to conquer and put all human lives as servitors, servants of his own indelicate mastery. Inordinate their hold on human hearts. In all our nature's turns, they intervene. Wow. So powerful that we are seeing that they are intervening in all our life. We see such falsehood in the media, in politics, even in what some would call great philanthropists, such as Soros, who's trying to undermine India. So against all higher truths, their stuff rebels. Only to tighten force, their will lies prone. And then, in all our nature's turns, they intervene. So these dark forces are always around, and they will not be destroyed until the truth has established itself on earth through the divine love. And we can know that this was Mother's work with the supramental. If you see that 23 years after Sri Aurobindo left his body, Mother has continued with one thing especially, the transformation of the body. That she had transformed everything else. There was nothing else for the Divine Mother to transform but the human body. Now, let's continue on and see what's going to happen here. Insignificant architects of low-built lives and engineers of interest and desire, out of crude earthiness and muddy thrills and coarse reactions of material nerve, they build our huddled structures of self-will and the ill-lighted mansions of our thought, or with the ego's factories and marts, surround the beautiful temple of the soul. Okay. They, in the divine's view, of course, they are insignificant architects of low-built lives. But they can be very damaging, extremely damaging, because they are engineers of interest and desire. And all of these things that come to us come from the universal mind. They are not our desires. They are not our interests. They are not even our ingenuity. Everything is coming out of this huge, this vast supply of thought from the universal. Out of crude earthiness and muddy thrills and coarse reactions of material nerve, they build our huddled structures of self-will and the ill-lighted mansions of our thought, or with the ego's factories and marts, surround the beautiful temple of the soul. Wow.
You know, the interesting part is that in the plan of Auroville, Mother imagined Auroville as beyond high walls, and it was hers first, you remember those visions.
Yes.
And near the walls, around the walls, outside, there will be exactly these, ego's factories and wards.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, carry on. This is very important.
Yeah, so she wanted them to be out, but not inside Auroville. So to say, they have to be, because they are part of the life, and there is this interaction, but over the wall. This is something interesting.
Yeah, really, very true. And so we see that they are engineers, they are fabricators of interest and desire. And they take this crude earthiness and these muddy thrills and these coarse reactions of material nerve. And what do they do with it? They build our huddled structures of self-will. Huddled here is crowded or massed together. and the ill-lighted mansions of our thought. Oh, what an ironic statement. Ill-lighted mansions of our thought. Oh, we think we are so brilliant, and we know nothing. We know nothing until we can rise into the higher mind and above. And only then can thought be true. So if they don't use the ill-lighted mansions of our thought, they can use the ego's factories and marts, because the ego is always building things. I am this, I am that, I am so great. My name is, I will be remembered forever, etc., etc. And then this very poignant statement, surround the beautiful temple of the soul. And now he's not finished telling us about them. Artists minute of the hues of littleness, they set the mosaic of our comedy, or plan the trivial tragedy of our days, arrange the deed, combine the circumstance, and the fantasia of the mood's costume. Okay. They are minute artists, no doubt about it, but they're powerful. Artists minute of what? Of these hues of littleness. And they set the mosaic of our comedy. Well, this is the divine comedy, of course, that we know. They set that mosaic of it. And a mosaic, of course, is something that resembles a picture made up of diverse elements. So these diverse elements as this mosaic of our comedy. Or plan the trivial tragedy of our days. And this is a very, very important line. We sometimes feel that we suffer so much, and we are beset by problems, by circumstances, by illness. This is really the trivial tragedy of our days. We are divine. How can we feel less than divine? We have to grow into that consciousness of divinity. But these beings, of course, arrange the deed, they combine these circumstances, and the fantasia. Fantasia is something unreal or weird or exotic or grotesque. The fantasia of the mood's costume, the mood's style, its characteristic style. Now what happens? These unwise prompters of man's ignorant heart. Well, we know what a prompter is in a theater. It's this person off stage who reminds the actors of their forgotten lines or cues. So these unwise prompters, obviously there's no wisdom there, and they are prompters of man's ignorant heart, and they are tutors and tutors of his stumbling speech and will. We all know what tutors are. Movers of petty wraths and lusts and hates and changeful thoughts and shallow emotion starts. These slight illusion makers with their masks, painters of the decor of a dull-hued stage, and nimble scene shifters of the human play, ever are busy with this ill-lit scene. Now look how Sri Aurobindo builds these lines. We have a play. We have a scene. We have scene shifters. We have a stage we have decor, we have masks, we have illusion makers. This is just extraordinary. And he does this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, we have prompters also.
And we have prompters, yes. And we have tutors also of stumbling speech and will. I mean, it's so extraordinary, really. We won't find this in any of the greatest epics where an image or a symbol can be sustained through line after line, page after page. Just think of Book 1, Canto 4, The Sailor on the Flow of Time. It goes on for page after page after page. And if you read it, you will see that each of us are those sailors on the flow of time. At first, staying very close to the shore, not taking any chance of going into a little deeper sea, and then plying our way, selling our wares, little things, and then finally taking a chance to go a little bit further into the sea. And, well, we've gone through that many times, but I always have to remind myself of the beauty of that sustained passage in which there are dozens and dozens of words that apply to the sea and man as a sailor. So we see they are movers of petty wraths and lusts and hates and changeful thoughts and shallow emotion starts. So look at this now. And Sri Aurobindo is pressing it home to us that these beings, these asuras, these titans, are movers of petty wraths and lusts and hates and changeful thoughts and shallow emotion starts. These slight illusion makers with their masks, of course they do wear masks, and we see that in the theater also. One can become the protagonist in a play by wearing a mask, but he's not that person. When he takes the mask off, he's himself. So we see that these slight illusion makers with their masks, who are painters, here we go again, painters and decor and stage, painters of the decor of a dull-hued stage, and nimble scene shifters of the human play, ever are busy with this ill-lit scene. Even the scene is ill-lit. It's not very good lighting on this scene. And now he's going to tell us about ourselves a bit. Ourselves, incapable to build our fate, only as actors speak and strut our parts. Again, still, let me read you just a few lines from Shakespeare here. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Wow. Macbeth. Only as actors speak and strut our parts, until the piece is done. and we pass off into a brighter time and subtler space. Thus, they inflict their pygmy law. Whoa. And curb the mounting slow uprise of man. Then his too scanty walk with death they close. Again, we have the image of the stage. The piece is done. When the piece is done and when we pass off into a brighter time and subtler space, but thus they inflict their little pygmy law. Now we know that a pygmy is a typically small being or size or capacity. And they curb. Now, curb here means to halt the mounting slow uprise of man. We can also see curb as to check or restrain or even control the mounting slow uprise of man. And then this last very poignant line. Then his too scanty walk with death they close. Well, you see, this mounting slow uprise of man is his evolution, is his evolutionary journey. And this is what we cannot let other forces and other beings control. We have to rely on the divine presence, the divine mother, to allow us to continue even our small steps towards the supermental. Because Sri Aurobindo has told us, and I'm paraphrasing here, that each of us is guaranteed to reach the supermental and to become supermental beings. Now, it doesn't matter if it takes 10 lives or 1,000 lives. The promise is there from Sri Aurobindo. So let me end with this last line. This is the ephemeral creature's daily life. Well, that's what we just talked about. We are ephemeral. We are born, and from the moment we're born, we begin to die. So we're transitory. As long as the human animal is Lord and a dense nether nature screens the soul. I have to go to the next page here. And that was, what's our page here? It's 164. I have to go. As long as intellect's outward gazing sight serves earthy interest and creature joys, and incurable littleness pursues his days. So we're seeing now that from what he said before, that this incurable littleness pursues his days. As long as intellect's outward gazing sight serves earthy, not earthly, earthy interest. In other words, the mud, the dirt of that's serving that interest of earth and creature joys and incurable littleness pursues his days. Ever since consciousness was born on earth, life is the same in insect, ape, and man. Its stuff unchanged, its way the common root. If new designs, if richer details grow, and thought is added and more tangled cares, if little by little it wears a brighter face, still, even in man, the plot is mean and poor. Mean, of course, is ignoble, base. So I'm going to stop there today. I think we're almost at 7 o'clock. Would you like to add some more, Vladimir?
Well, truly speaking, yes, there's what I thought from the beginning, only to Titan force their will lies prone, is interesting how the Titan force was involved in building up this this world, this manifestation of the divine. It has its role, as it were, and it brings all those elements into play, all those littleness in us, all that ill-lit temple in which we live, in our consciousness, which is lower. It kind of supports it and allows it to take place. And I was listening to the song today from the past, from the my rock and roll past, and the person was singing and the words which I heard for the first time: "You kept me down, O Lord. You kept me down, O my sweet God." And at the end he sings, "You kept me down to make me free, you kept me down." And it shocked me because I saw this, vision of Sri Aurobindo in the rock and roll song. You kept me down to make me free.
I know the song.
You know? Yes.
Yes. And there are a couple of things to add to this, because the one thing we have to really understand is that Mother says these are the prompters of our life. They challenge us to grow. And she even says in another place, they are also my children, because everything is the mother's. She is in control of everything. She has designed everything. And the Lord, the Purusha, the Purushottama, has reflected her work and supported her work. So all of these things that we see, what Sri Aurobindo is telling us here, he's cautioning us. He's asking us to grow out of ourselves, to grow out of our small, limited selves into the consciousness of the divine, where we can unite with the divine and become the divine. Natalie?
Against all higher truth their staff rebels. Only to Titan force their will lies prone. Inordinate their hold on human hearts. In all our nature's turns they intervene. Insignificant architects of low-built lives and engineers of interest and desire, out of crude earthiness and muddy thrills and coarse reactions of material nerve, they build our huddled structures of self-will and the ill-lightened mansions of our thought. Or with the ego's factories and marts, surround the beautiful temple of the soul. Artist minute of the hues of littleness, they set the mosaic of our comedy, or plan the trivial tragedy of our days, arrange the deed, combine the circumstance, and the fantasia of the mood's costume. These unwise prompters of the man's ignorant heart, and tutors of his stumbling speech and will, movers of petty wraths and lusts and hates, and changeful thoughts and shallow emotion starts, these sight illusion makers with their masks, painters of the decor of a dull-hued stage, and nimble scene-shifters of the human play, ever are busy with this ill-lit scene. Ourselves incapable to build our fate, only as actors speak and strut our parts, until the piece is done and we pass off into a brighter time and subtler space. Thus they inflict their little pygmy law and curb the mountain's slow uprise of man. Then his too scanty walk with death they close. This is the ephemeral creature's daily life. As long as the human animal is lord, and a dense nether nature screens the soul, as long as intellect's outward-gazing sight serves earthly interest and creature joys, an incurable littleness pursues his days. Ever since consciousness was born on earth, life is the same in insect, ape, and man, its stuff unchanged, its way the common root. If new designs, if richer details grow, and thought is added, and more tangled cares, if little by little it wears a brighter face, still, even in man, the plot is mean and poor.
Thank you so much. Ashwini, may I ask you to read next week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. Namaste all.
Thank
Quite
you.
an evening. Namaste.